This podcast is for mature audiences only. In this podcast, I explore stories of darkness from history, myth, and legend. My name is Serra, and this is Evil. This episode is sponsored by Horror Pack. Physicists have speculated about multi-dimensions, universes layered over universes over universes. Of course, the scientists would tell you that we currently have no way of knowing what these other dimensions are like. But what if I told you we do have a neighboring universe, another dimension separated from us by a thin fourth dimension barrier? What if I told you this neighboring universe was nothing like the heavens or hells we imagine in our philosophies? That this shadow universe is a place of darkness far beyond any hell we can imagine. The thing about blackouts is that they force you to realize how much you rely on electricity, how much of our lives are spent plugged in. Even the background noise of our lives consists of the humming of modern activity and machines, from the rumbling of kitchen appliances to the reverberation of your neighbor's TV and other electronics. These noises all add up to make the theme music for our modern lives. This background noise is comforting, as it lets us know we are not alone, that beyond our own four walls lies the rest of civilization. A blackout can silence that background noise. A blackout forces us to search the silence for meaning. On Thursday, August 14th, 2003, much of the northeast United States and southeast Canada went black. The official cause was listed as an overload of the regional power grids, due mainly to the overuse of air conditioning on that hot day. Of course, not found in any official story is the mention of Project Emerald Gemini, a secret government project using the closed Indian Point Nuclear Particle Accelerator. Officially, the New York Particle Accelerator was closed in 2001. However, it was quietly reopened in 2003, when physicist Dr. Leo Bodenheimer was recruited to test the limits of our universe and prove once and for all that we are part of a multiverse. On August 4th, he made a major breakthrough, literally. Dr. Bodenheimer punched a baseball-sized gate through the fourth dimension barrier and was the first human to gaze upon a neighboring universe. His journal entry read, "When I was a boy, I told my father that I wanted to be a famous explorer. I wanted to discover places that no one had ever seen. My father sat me down and said that every place has already been discovered, that I was born centuries too late. Now, like so many sons before me, I have risen to my father's challenge. I have become the greatest explorer in human history." The gate was only open for a few seconds on that first fateful night. What Dr. Bodenheimer did not notice in those exciting few seconds was that a tiny creature, resembling a metallic insect, entered our universe through the gate. The insect-like creature flew out of the lab, outside of the building, and headed towards nearby town of Stony Point. 10 days later, on August 14th, Dr. Bodenheimer attempted to open a larger gate. However, the additional power needed for his experiment overloaded the power grid. The heat was a factor, as everyone in the Northeast was taxing the power grid, and then Project Emerald Gemini pushed it over the edge, and so started the largest North American blackout in modern history. Amanda and her bulldog Max rented the second story of a two-story home. Roger and Emma Edelman were the owners of the house and lived on the first floor. They liked Amanda, as she was quiet and timely on her rent. It was a nice place, as you could see the Hudson River from there, but not close enough that you could smell the river. The Edelmans tolerated Max the bulldog, even though they originally told Amanda no pets. However, Max was abandoned when Amanda had found him. She nursed him back to health, and Max has been with her ever since. The Edelmans fell in love with him as well. Max was friendly, and most importantly, quiet. On August 14th, when the lights went out, Amanda and Max were home eating dinner. The Edelmans were watching their favorite late-night TV host. In the darkness, Amanda fumbled through her kitchen for the flashlight she had stored in a drawer. Once she reached it, she was thankful that it had enough battery life left to shed some light in her apartment. On the first floor, the Edelmans were in a similar situation. Emma located a flashlight and Roger stepped outside. He looked down the street and confirmed the entire area was without power. Emma and Roger initially passed the time by playing the card game Hearts. Amanda waited a few minutes for the lights to come back on, but after 20 minutes she gave up. She decided to crack open the book she had read halfway through last summer. There was nothing better to do than read by flashlight. Amanda sat on her bed and cracked open her bedroom window as the air conditioner was out as well. Max curled up on Amanda's feet and he snored as she read. After 7 hands of hearts, 5 of which Emma won, the Edelmans decided to retire for the night and hoped the power would come back sometime during the night. Roger cracked open the bedroom window to help with the heat that was building up in the house. Hours passed in the darkness. Amanda refused to sleep, but the Edelmans had no reservations of sleeping through the power outage. At 2 a.m., the mosquitoes were starting to get on everyone's nerve. Between the buzzing and the biting, Emma had trouble sleeping. She sat up in frustration and swatted at the little devils. With her eyes adjusted to the low light of the bedroom, she saw more mosquitoes hovering over Roger and some biting him while he slept. Emma shooed the bugs away and tried to gently swat the biters on her husband. Roger barely moved as his wife swatted the mosquitoes. The benefits of being a heavy sleeper. Emma swatted a few more times, and then retracted her hand in pain. She had swatted what she originally thought was a mosquito, but when Emma made contact, she felt as if she was stung by a scorpion. The pain was sharp and sudden. She looked down on Roger's neck and saw what looked like a metallic insect trying to bore through his skin. Amanda was asleep with the book in her lap and the flashlight dimming on her bed. Max continued to snore and wiggled his ears as the mosquitoes buzzed around him. Then Max heard something. His canine ears perked up, and suddenly he raised his head. Max was alert and gave a low, rough-sounding short bark, a warning bark. Amanda snapped awake. The silence of the blackout was still around her, but she noticed Max standing at the foot of her bed. He was motionless, save for his ears. They moved back and forth. Max was searching for a sound. Amanda whispered, "What is it, Max?" In response, Max gave out a short, rough bark again, but didn't move. Amanda scooted to the edge of the bed near Max. She noticed he was looking at the floor. Amanda placed her hand on Max's head and gave him a scratch. She strained to find the noise that Max was hearing. It was faint, but something was there. The sound was muffled and originated from the first floor. It almost sounded like the Edelmans were rearranging furniture. A smirk appeared on Amanda's face. "Don't worry, I think they're just getting..." Then a scream rang out, deliberate and panicked. It had to be Emma. Both Amanda and Max flinched at the sudden sound, and then froze. The sounds of doors slamming and running about was heard. Max jumped off the bed and followed the sounds around. He would occasionally bark a response when he heard a loud noise from below. Usually it was a door slam or a scream. Max followed the noises to the kitchen. Amanda stayed close to him. The noise intensified as the first floor's back door flew open and footfalls ascending the outside stairs could be heard. Max's focus followed the hasty footsteps. His eye focal point moved upwards as the footfalls drew nearer. Amanda noticed him staring at the back door. A frantic knock came from the door, followed by another and another. Amanda cautiously pulled back the small curtain on the door's window. There was a figure in the darkness. Amanda shone her dimming flashlight through the window. On the other side of the door was Emma Edelman. Her face was scratched. Her eyes were full of tears. Emma frantically knocked on the back door's window. "Amanda, let me in, please." Amanda shook, and then seeing the fear in Emma's eyes, unlocked the door and opened it. As Amanda opened her second-story door, she heard the first-story door violently swing open. Emma screamed and pushed her way into Amanda's kitchen. "Close it!" Emma screamed. Amanda jumped and fumbled with the locks. Heavy footsteps could be heard ascending the stairs. As Amanda turned the deadbolt to the locking position, the back door bowed inwards from someone running into it. The door frame rattled and creaked from the force. Emma screamed and ran deeper into the apartment. The door shook again as the dark figure crashed against it once more. Max barked at the figure beyond the door. Amanda shone the flashlight through the back door window. She saw the face of Roger Edelman, but his eyes were dark and emotionless. He seemed to look right through Amanda. Roger stepped back and charged the door again. The frame cracked as he made contact and the door barely held on. Roger wasn't a massive man. He was average build at best, but he hit the door with the force of a possessed man. Roger stepped back for another assault on the door. In desperation, Amanda reached into the sink of dirty dishes and grabbed the first handle she touched. As Roger rammed the door with the full force of his weight, the door frame gave away. Roger stumbled through the doorway as the door itself was still an obstacle. Amanda panicked and swung the dirty pot she had lifted from the sink with all her might. It struck Roger square in the forehead as he was stumbling forward over the remains of the back door. Max continued to bark at Roger safely from behind Amanda's leg. Roger moaned in pain and collapsed to the floor. He rolled over to his back while clutching his forehead. Amanda readied another swing as she clutched the dirty pot's handle with both hands and stood in a swinger stance that Babe Ruth would have been proud of. Roger looked up from the floor, eyes watering from the recent blow to the forehead. The darkness had disappeared from his eyes. Amanda saw the change. "Amanda? What's going on, Mr. Edelman?" Roger shook his head and rubbed the back of his neck. "It bit me. It bore into my neck. It took control of me. It made me attack Emma." Amanda, still in her swinger stance, asked, "And now?" Roger grimaced in pain and rolled forward so he was on his hands and knees. He clutched the back of his neck with white knuckles. Amanda, confused, stepped back away from Roger. She watched as a metallic insect burst out from the back of his neck near the spine. The insect grazed Roger's hand and he pulled it away in pain. The metallic insect took to the air and buzzed towards Amanda. She furiously swung the pan at the buzzing menace while Max angrily barked at it. As it buzzed around her, she struck it twice with the dirty pot. The metallic insect looped around and dove towards Max. The dog leapt away from the insect in an attempt to dodge it, but it still managed to land on his back. Max squealed in pain and tried to bite the insect, but could not manage to reach it. Amanda instinctively reached for the source of her dog's pain and grabbed the metallic insect. She plucked it from Max's back. As she did, the insect bit her. Amanda screamed and flicked her wrist over and over to generate enough force to remove the insect. It tore at the flesh on her finger, and as the insect ripped enough flesh away, the force of her flicking her wrist ejected the insect from her hand. The metallic insect buzzed around, with an ounce of Amanda's flesh in its mandible. Amanda raised the dirty pot and readied for another swing. The insect looped away from Amanda and hovered in the doorway. It seemed to study the situation for a few seconds, and then it flew out the doorway into the darkness. That was an original story by me. As mentioned earlier, this episode was brought to you by Horror Pack. Horror Pack has a great subscription service. 4 horror movies every month for the price of about $20. To get a discount, go to evilpodcast.com and click on the Horror Pack box. Check it out, you'll love it. Also, to show that I'm not all evil, if you go to evilpodcast.com, we now have a little evil teddy bear. Cute little teddy bear that's actually wearing my t-shirt. You can buy him there if you'd like. Just hit the link. A great way to support Evil Podcast is to subscribe on whatever service you're using, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Hit the subscribe button, so every time there's an update, you'll get it. Also, you can rate and review us. Evil Podcast can also use your support to keep the lights on, so to speak. If you go to patreon.com, you can become a Patreon for just $1 a month, or as much as you like. Any amount is appreciated. Also, you can reach me through Twitter and Facebook. At Twitter, I'm at Dennis Serra. On Facebook, just go to evilpodcast.com and click on the Facebook button. You'll go right to my page. Same with Twitter. And if you want to listen to any past episodes, you can find those on the website at evilpodcast.com. Check us out. And thank you for listening to this episode. And remember, be good.